Alright guys, we're going to be going over split layer and layer sandwich. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is bring in the file. Go to my desktop. And I have a folder here called split layer, layer sandwich. I grabbed this off the server. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Photoshop document. And I'm going to make sure that I bring it in as composition crop layers. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is split layer. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a new composition. You can go ahead and hit Apple N for new. I'm going to make sure I'm on 720 by 480 NTSC DV. And 10 seconds is our duration. I'm going to go ahead and name this split layer. Alright, so let's bring in a couple files here. I'm going to bring in my fish, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in another file called hook. Alright, so I have both of my files here. I'm going to go ahead and go up here to composition, and I'm going to go to background color. And let's go ahead and pick a blue color here, kind of a dark blue, and that's going to be our background. Our assets do have alpha. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take our hook and we're going to rotate it. So it looks like it's going vertical here. Okay, and next thing we'll do is put some position on here. I'm going to go ahead and make a keyframe for position. Move my hook up here to the top of the screen. Let's move it forward in time to 2 seconds. Okay. And we're going to drag this down and make a keyframe. Move it again to 4 seconds. We're going to bring the hook back up. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn our fish layer back on. Let's take a look at the scale down here. Let's unhook the constraint on our scale. And you see if we click and drag on this, we can flip it around. Let's make the second number -100. Okay. Go ahead and hit R for rotation with the fish layer selected. And just rotate the fish vertical here. Alright. Here's what we're going to do. Let's go back in time here. Our hook is going to go up. And we're going to move it right to 2 seconds. What I can do is hit this little arrow right here. What these two arrows are going to do is navigate through your keyframes. So as I click on these, it's going to jump through my keyframes. So I want to make sure that I'm right here at my middle keyframe, 2 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and attach my fish. Let's put him on the top layer. And I need to parent my fish to the hook layer. Okay. So all my parenting is going to do is attach my fish layer to my hook layer. There's two different ways I can do this. Number one, I have a pull down. I can just select the hook layer, and my fish is going to move with the hook layer. I'm going to go ahead and hit undo, Apple Z. I can also use the pick whip. It's this thing here that looks like a cinnamon bun. I'm going to take this and drag it down to the layer I would like to parent it to. Okay, so my fish is moving, and he's attached to the hook, but he's attached to the hook the whole time. So what I want to do is go ahead and go to 2 seconds, and select the fish layer. What I'm going to do now is called a split layer. What it's going to do is split my one layer into two where my time indicator is. All you have to do is go to Edit and Split Layer. Apple Shift D is the quick key for that. And it's going to split my one layer into two. I'm going to back up and do that again real quick. Apple Z. All I need to do a split layer is select the layer I want to split, put my time indicator at the time I want to split it, which is 2 seconds, and go to Edit, Split Layer. Cool. So now my fish is split up into two separate layers. Before I move my time indicator, I'm going to go ahead and take the parenting on the first half here and set it to none. Now if I check it out, the hook will come down and attach itself to my fish. Now I'm going to go ahead and select my fish layer here, the second part of it, and I'm going to go ahead and split it one more time. Edit, split layer. And what I can do is take my second part and parent it to none. Now the hook will keep moving and my fish will stay put. So, split layer in this instance is an effective way to parent and unparent things by splitting them into separate layers. Alright, now let's do a different split layer example. Go ahead and start yourself a new composition, 720 by 480, 10 seconds in duration, 29.97. Go ahead and name it Split Layer 2. And go ahead and drag in the planet layer and the rocket layer. Alright, so let's go ahead and do a couple things here. Let's take our rocket and hit P for position, and let's make a path for our rocket. I'm going to go ahead and hit the stopwatch, make my first keyframe, and I'm going to move my rocket right about here. So I'm going to move this forward in time to about 1 second, and pull this rocket out. Go forward to about 2 seconds, and pull the rocket down. Three seconds, pull this rocket over. And we'll go back to 4 seconds. Put it right back where we started. Make sure it's not sticking out past the planet there. Okay, so right now we have our rocket spinning around our planet, but it's in front of the planet the entire time. So we're going to do split layer, and this time it's going to change something. This time it's going to make us go in front and behind an object. So right about here, our rocket clears the planet. So I'm going to select my rocket layer and go up top to Edit and Split Layer. Cool, so now my rocket has two separate pieces. So at the beginning here, I can have my first rocket layer, and it can go underneath the planet. So it looks like it's coming out from behind the planet. Okay, it's moving in front now, because this layer is on top of this layer. We're just talking about just like layer order in Photoshop. When it kicks out to the side here, I want to be able to make it go behind the planet. Currently, this layer is on top, so we're going to do another split layer. So right about here, I'm going to select the layer that I want to split, go to Edit, Split Layer. Then I can take the rocket from here on out and put it underneath the planet. So now it'll swing behind the planet. So another example of a split layer, except this time we're using it to change our layer order. Alright, so we have one last example to do. Let's go ahead and make one more composition. Let's call it Layer Sandwich. 720 by 480, 10 seconds again. What we're going to do is just drag in a couple layers. Let's go ahead and drag in the arch. And the airplane layer. Now, what we mean by layer sandwich is currently I have my plane that I want to fly through here, and I have this arch. Now, this arch doesn't have alpha, it's just a layer by itself. So to make this work, I want to have this plane come in behind this part of the arch and then fly in front of the rest. So what I'm going to do is take my arch layer, turn off the eyeball on the plane layer, and I'm going to take my arch layer here and duplicate it. Just select it and hit Apple D for duplicate. What I'm going to do is drag a version of this on top. So we have an arch layer on the top and another one on the bottom. This is that layer sandwich thing. Go ahead and grab your pen tool and just trace out a part of this. Take your time and get the details in here. It's going to look a little funny. Now, all I have to do is bring it back around at the end, just like an illustrator, and I want to get a closed shape. And you'll get that little circle right next to the pen tool. Now let me turn off my bottom layer here, and we can see that everything inside of the path I just drew is now a mask. So it's just this one little part. Let me turn my plane back on. So now you can see that my plane is underneath this layer. Go ahead and move that. So now my plane can fly in behind this part. And I can turn on the other part of the arch, the one that's on underneath. And now my plane can come in behind this part and go in front of the rest. So I'll just throw in a quick keyframe for my airplane. Move it forward to 2 seconds. And I'm going to move this across. I'm going to hold down the Shift key to constrain it. I'm going to set up my work area right here. This is so my RAM preview will only preview in this little area. And I'm going to go ahead and preview. So with the layer sandwich technique, my plane can go behind part of the object and in front of the rest. And that's it.